Business Review, your daily source for the most critical stories in the financial world. Tune in next time for the latest financial news impacting the world economy.
The Philippines' iconic and notoriously packed and polluting jeepneys were back on the road in the capital's thoroughfares for the first time, following the government's further easing of measures to revive an economy squeezed by the coronavirus pandemic. There are virus prevention measures in place. Plastic barriers have been installed inside jeepneys to promote social distancing between passengers. Drivers must wear gloves and face masks at all times, and only commuters wearing face masks are allowed to travel. According to the Philippine government, over 6,000 out of an estimated 55,000 jeepneys will be initially allowed to operate at 50% capacity on certain routes around the capital after operations were suspended for over 3 months. The fare for those routes is approximately 20 cents. Jeepneys were the last mode of public transportation to resume operations, prompting some drivers to seek alms or start living in their jeepneys due to months without income. Manila remains under a general community quarantine, meaning businesses and public transport are allowed to operate at a reduced capacity.
The number of passengers and flights declined sharply at airports across the United States as the COVID-19 pandemic has resurged after reopening across the country. An example is the Washington Dulles International Airport. A reporter from the China Central Television, or CCTV, took a flight on business and witnessed the plight. All passengers were required to wear masks during the whole check-in and boarding process. There were a few passengers in the terminal building waiting in line at the service desk to check in. Hand sanitizers were placed next to the service desk for passengers. Service personnel from airlines registered all passengers and took their temperatures. Those with abnormal body temperature are not allowed to go through check-in procedure. There were also signs placed along the security check channels reminding passengers of maintaining a social distance of 2 meters. Security staff members wear masks and gloves. Only 2 security check channels were open at the time and all others were closed. The flight information screen showed that only 3 international flights took off from Dulles that morning. Most duty-free shops, restaurants at the airport were closed. On the plane, all the passengers and staff members were required to keep their facial masks on during the whole trip. And according to a recent report published by the International Air Transport Associations, airlines around the world will lose about $84.3 billion and their net profit margin will drop by 20.1%. The total revenue is expected to be $419 billion. That's down by 50% from the previous year. Experts generally hold that the impact of the pandemic on the aviation industry will last for a long time, and it's difficult for the air passenger flow to return to the normal level in a short period of time.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott decreed that face masks must be worn in all counties with over 20 coronavirus cases, billing the measure as a requirement to avoid another economic shutdown. Wearing face coverings to slow the spread of the coronavirus is unpopular among Abbott's conservative Republican base in Texas, but he said that the action was now absolutely necessary. The governor said face masks must be used in all public buildings and outside when social distancing of at least 2 meters cannot be maintained. Those violating the order will be given one warning. After that, they can be issued a fine of up to $250. Nobody can be jailed for defying the order. About a third of the 254 counties in Texas have reported fewer than 20 coronavirus cases, making them exempt from the order. The governor also gave local authorities the ability to ban outdoor gatherings of more than 10 people. Earlier, a far-right anti-mask rally was held on the grounds of the Texas Capitol, attended by about 150 people. After avoiding major outbreaks in April and May, Texas has become a coronavirus hotspot. The rate of people testing positive for the virus has gone from 4.5% in late May to 14%, Abbott said. Hospitalization averaged less than 1,700 per day in late May. Abbott's order marks a major reversal. For over 2 months, he ignored calls by the Democratic leaders of Texas metropolitan areas to mandate mask wearing. He refused to allow leaders in Houston to enforce their own face covering mandate with penalties, undercutting their ability to slow the spread of the virus. Hospital officials in Houston have said intensive care beds there are now in short supply. Abbott said he is not issuing a stay-at-home order, but is asking people to remain home if at all possible.
In Rio de Janeiro, residents could once again run along the beaches and drink a chilled coconut water at the kiosks that line the sand as Brazil's second city tried to return to some normality. Cariocas, as Rio's inhabitants are known, went to restaurants and gyms that are now allowed to operate again in the latest stage of reopening. The beaches remain closed for sunbathing but opened for individual exercise. Brazil has the world's second largest outbreak behind the United States, with the country's death toll passing 60,000. In Rio alone, 6,618 people have died of COVID-19 in the past 4 months. Only 14 countries in the world have a death toll higher than the city. Public hospitals are at 70% capacity. At a restaurant, Fernando Melco said that he was relieved to be back at work. City Hall has laid out various public health criteria to try and ensure a safe return to business, which include limited capacity and requiring people to book in advance, but medical experts say there's still a fear the move may have come too soon. Rio still has an elevated number of daily deaths, showing the virus remains highly active.
A California taco stand chain has closed its doors after relentless confrontations by customers refusing to wear masks. Bill Coney, the CFO of Hugo's Tacos, said that he made the decision to protect his staff, who were becoming traumatized by the constant verbal abuse. The behavior by customers has increased recently, with as many as 5 verbal attacks happening within 1 hour. After a sign about the closure was posted at the taco stand, Twitter users took a photo of it. Consequently, a GoFundMe page set up to help the workers of the stand has surged, reaching its goal of $50,000. Now Coney is working out how to reopen the stands with additional security for his staff and the well-behaved customers.
This has been Business Review, your daily source for the most critical financial stories. Tune in next time for the latest financial news impacting the world economy.